All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Kylie Veil channel. You already know what it is. We have more leftover women stories, and the bottom line is they realize that there's no happy ending in. But let's see what they're talking about. Being that this is a shorter video, makes it better. Once again, shout out to All Asian Dilemmas. Let's go.
There are indeed some older single women whose criteria for a partner truly leave me speechless. Today, a 34-year-old woman approached me asking for help to find a match. She has 3 requirements. First, the man cannot be much older than her and must own a house and a car in Shenzhen. Second, he needs to be handsome, look youthful and be at least 1.75 meters tall. Lastly, the man's parents must be self-sufficient and have a pension. If you meet these criteria, tell me, would you choose to date a woman like her?
Absolutely not. And what percentage of men have that criteria to begin with? I mean, let's be real. This is the struggle economy on both sides. On the West end here in America and on the East end over there in China. So, I mean, China's pretty expensive too. I'm not talking about the village people out in the outer lands. I'm talking about where the suburbs and the cities are, like America. The developed areas. It's expensive to live in any developed area. So a lot of people aren't going to have all this, especially with just a college degree and a job. I mean, for a man to have all this, it has to be a trust fund, somebody that grew up like a trust fund baby, that had a spoon on a golden platter, that type of thing. So that's why a lot of these women are remaining single, because they refuse to settle for what they require. They don't want to go beneath their standards, but not everybody's going to check off all the boxes.
No wonder so many older women are single these days. Living through it myself, I finally understand why. Recently, I was introduced to a man through a matchmaking setup. I'm 32, and he's also in his 30s. Both our families were eager for something to work out, so they arranged the meeting. At first, everything seemed great. We talked a lot, he was attentive, picked me up from work every day, and would go out for dinner or walks together.
Pause. We're going to bring it back to the West. If you watch a lot of dating channels on throughout YouTube, other content creators, they tell you to stop taking these girls out on dates, because they're telling guys that they're wasting their time and money taking these girls out, knowing that they're dealing with other guys that aren't doing half of the things that you're doing for them. So in reality, a lot of these guys are getting screwed, so they're tired of doing that, whether they have the money or not. But then again, most people are living off credit cards, so they don't mind splurging money.
For a whole month, he really made an effort to win me over. But to be honest, I didn't want to make it too easy for him.
Here go the games.
I'd always heard that if a woman gives in too quickly, a man won't value her. So, I started hesitating. When he suggested making our relationship official, I just said, let's wait a bit longer.
Rejection. If it's not a direct answer, just leave her alone. You're wasting your time. This woman is obviously going to exercise her other options, so on and so on. So this is why a lot of guys get screwed, because they keep waiting, thinking that things are going to change if they keep dealing with the women, when really the answer was clear. She just didn't say no.
I'll admit I also put up some barriers.
What?
I'd ask him to pick me up late at night because I needed something, or I'd suggest he do things that I knew would be inconvenient, like driving across town to get me after work. On holidays, I couldn't help but compare myself to my friends. Seeing them get flowers and jewelry made me want to say, hey, I deserve that too. Whenever he showed any frustration, I played the victim. I'd cry and say, maybe we're just not compatible. It was like I wanted to test how far he would go for me, but deep down, I was just pushing him away. This dragged on for a year. When he asked me again about our future, I said it was still too soon to think about marriage. He, clearly tired, suggested we take a break.
Ooh.
He told me to think things over and reach out when I was ready.
The waiting game. Gentlemen, don't wait. Any woman that acts like this is a lost cause. I mean, hopefully this guy had other options.
At the time, I thought he'd come running back, but he didn't. And that's when he met someone else.
Good.
She was younger than me and, apparently, didn't have as many demands. Within a week, she made it clear she wanted something serious and even mentioned marriage. In the blink of an eye, he cut off all contact with me. At first, I thought he'd come back. I waited for 2 weeks, and when I couldn't take it anymore, I contacted the matchmaker. I complained, said he wasn't reliable, and blamed the whole situation.
And it was clearly her fault. You pretty much pushed him away. Now you're mad that he moved on to somebody else, and you contact the matchmaker. See, we don't do this here in America. We don't rely on matchmakers, but we do have, what is that, the mixers? The mixers that the guys aren't showing up to. They're doing that over there in China too. That's why they have the match markets. I'm sorry, the maid markets, marriage markets, whatever you want to call it. But that seems to be failing too. So basically it's everybody's ridiculous demands. I mean, you got to realize the economy's messed up for everybody. So a lot of people can't fulfill half the things that these women are asking for. So these women are living in a dream world, not just over there, but over here too. And that's why older guys are winning, because older guys are set financially. They have assets. They have pretty much things that they don't have to do, like a regular 9-to-5. They have paid off properties, and they could pretty much provide a lifestyle, especially for a younger girl. That's why you have all these retirees going to third world countries like the Philippines, Indonesia, and they could just buy a 20-year-old. And that's why they're doing that. I mean, it's kind of creepy, but that's why. They don't want to deal with the delusions of the older women.
But the matchmaker didn't hold back. They told me, with brutal honesty, that at my age, I should already know how these things work.
Ooh.
They said I had toyed with his feelings,
Yeah.
wasted his time and money,
You
and in
did.
the end, acted like he was the one in the wrong.
And I bet you he didn't get none either. I mean, I'm not even being childish, but if he was doing all this, driving across town to get her from work and everything, going out late night, going out his way, I mean, what did he get in return besides useless conversation?
It stung. A lot. I felt ashamed and, for the first time, saw the situation from his perspective. I let a good man slip away because I was clinging to ideas that don't hold up in real life. This experience made me reflect. How many of us, older single women, miss out on good opportunities because
lot.
we act selfishly or get caught up in unrealistic fantasies? My advice? Seize the opportunities while you can. Don't get stuck in tests or unattainable expectations. If you want a family, value the people who genuinely make an effort for you. That's my story, and I hope it serves as a lesson. If you've been through something similar or have something to share, leave a comment. And from the bottom of my heart, I hope we all find someone special.
You will. You just have to stop being picky. Next.
真的是让人瞠目结舌。
I am 36 years old, often
Uh-oh.
labeled as a leftover woman, and
I guess I'm a leftover man. I'm 36 too. What it do, baby?
I want to share my experience and the standards I've set for finding a life partner. Over the years, I've faced countless comments and judgments, but I've learned to embrace who I am and focus on what truly matters to me. My criteria may seem unconventional to some, but they reflect the lessons I've learned through my journey and what I truly value in a relationship. Growing up, my parents instilled in me strong values. They raised me without a princess complex, teaching me the importance of hard work and independence. I excelled in my studies, achieving milestones that brought pride to my family, earning a master's degree, securing a stable and well-paying career, and even buying a house for my parents. With an annual salary of 500,000 to 600,000 yuan, I've built a life that many would consider fulfilling. Yet, despite all these achievements, there has always been a missing piece.
Yeah. And have you noticed that the main requirement is these women are too worried about what the guy could do for her family? I'm noticing that too. And not only that, his parents have to have a pension too. Not only does he have to have enough money to support her parents, I'm like, wow, that's a whole lot for a young age. If you're in your 20s, this is celebrity status. These women need to be dealing with celebrities. They want to live the celebrity lifestyle with nothing in return to give back to their prized possession. They have nothing to offer these guys. That's why they're having a hard time. They expect all this with little in return for them. How is that going to benefit their lives? Like, these women must benefit the provider as well. Because I guarantee you a lot of these women aren't going to cook or clean or do anything. It's like, so as a man, you're still going to be doing everything as if you were single. So if you take on any of these women, it's just a liability.
A partner to share life with. 4 years, I poured my energy into my career, believing that success would fill every void. But as time passed, I began to realize that personal fulfillment isn't complete without meaningful relationships.
It's lonely at the top. Yeah, baby girl, it's lonely at the top, ain't it? You achieved all that shit that didn't mean nothing. You can have everything in the world, but you have nobody to share it with. It's lonely at the top because you didn't bring anybody with you. So that's one thing that a lot of people are understanding now. Older people regret working so much, but this generation is going to regret not sharing their accomplishments with anybody.
Watching my friends settle down and start families made me reflect on what I truly want. Youth doesn't last forever, and I
Nope.
don't want to look back with regret, wondering why I didn't prioritize love when I had the chance. When I finally decided to focus on marriage, I knew I had to set criteria that align with my values and experiences. The most important quality I look for is emotional stability. To me, a partner's ability to remain composed and handle life's challenges with grace outweighs material possessions. Even if his job is modest, what truly matters is his capacity to create a peaceful and supportive environment. Emotional stability isn't just about avoiding conflict. It's about fostering a harmonious relationship where both partners feel secure. It also lays the foundation for raising children in a nurturing home, helping them grow into confident and well-adjusted individuals. Another criterion I've set is that my partner must have a local household registration. This might sound limiting, but family proximity is deeply important to me. My parents have sacrificed so much to give me a good life, and I want to be there for them as they age. Being able to visit them often, care for them, and show my gratitude is something I hold close to my heart.
That's a position you need to put yourself in. Why is it my job to make sure you be able to do that? That's something you should do before you even lock in somebody. So she's trying to put all her issues on whoever she settles with. That's not right. Nah, I disagree.
Far too many people live with the regret of not spending enough time with their parents, and I refuse to let that be my story. I also believe it's essential that his parents don't have harmful habits. A person's family environment plays a huge role in shaping their character.
And see, that's another thing. They're too worried about what his parents are doing. His parents' addictions has nothing to do with you, baby girl. My dad likes to go to the casino every weekend. That ain't none of your damn business. He could always hide that shit. I mean, nobody tells everything unless they're stupid. But why are you worried about what my parents do? They're not going to stop doing nothing just because you came into our lives. Nah, she tripping.
And values. Parents with toxic behaviors can cast a long shadow over a relationship, creating unnecessary stress and challenges. A healthy family dynamic not only ensures a stronger bond between partners, but also sets a positive example for future generations. Lastly, I want us to treat both sets of parents equally after marriage. Marriage isn't just a union of two individuals, it's a merging of families. Open communication and mutual respect are essential for resolving conflicts and ensuring that our parents feel valued and cared for in their old age. What surprises many people is that I've never been interested in dowries, houses, or cars. I know that some women place high importance on material wealth, but those things have never defined happiness for me. True happiness lies in the authenticity of a relationship where both partners support and understand each other deeply.
And see, another thing I'm noticing is, even if the guys that they wanted to pursue had money for these dowries, a lot of times their family has to help them out. Because the average young person in their 20s don't have money for a dowry, let alone a house, a down payment for a house, a car. Everything costs money, right? Because when you have all this stuff and you move in with each other, you still have to have money for food and gas. Whether your car's an EV or not, you have to pay for electricity too. It's not free to charge those cars. So you pretty much better do your math before you even move in together and start a family. And a lot of people don't do the math, or they'll just be like, oh, we'll just figure it out as we go. And then next thing you know, you guys are always arguing about money because y'all ain't got none. Oh, man. I tell you, a lot of people make their lives shit shows themselves. Like, your life doesn't just become a shit show just because of reality. It's because a lot of times our choices. 90% of your problems are your fault. Yeah.
Some may find my criteria unconventional or even impractical, but I see them as a reflection of my growth and maturity. I've worked hard to build a life I'm proud of, and I refuse to settle for less than what I deserve. To other women out there, I want to say this: never let societal pressures dictate your choices. You have every right to pursue the happiness you deserve, no matter your age or circumstances. Life is too short to live by other people's expectations.
Which is why you don't compromise nothing to be with anybody. You're absolutely right, baby girl. And come to look at it, as I look at her face, she kind of reminds me of that actor Brenda Song. She's about 36, 37, just like me, right? Well, we're all 36, 37. So I just thought about that. She looks just like Brenda Song. Must be one of her relatives. I'm not even trying to be funny, but...
Now, I'd love to hear from you. Do you think my criteria are unusual? Have you faced similar challenges or made similar decisions? Let's start a conversation because every story deserves to be heard.
My standards are so low, you can't imagine, you know? That's why I think asking not to have a belly isn't unreasonable at all. My standards for choosing a partner, family, education, those aren't my requirements, because I don't have them myself, so how could I ask that from someone else?
Oh man, this girl is good. I like her.
Don't you think that would be too much? My only request is for the person to be similar to me.
Oh.
Even if he's an orphan, great, we're compatible. If he has parents, that's great too, I would feel honored. As for my husband, he's starting to lose his hair and go bald. I just can't accept that. I'm not going to look for a bald, chubby man to be my husband.
You hear that? She don't want no Fred Flintstone looking mofo.
It's like going to the market to buy fruit. I might pick an apple that's already spoiled, but would you go to the market to buy spoiled fruit? Impossible, right? Ha ha. When I went to Changsha, a friend told me he would introduce me to a guy who didn't smoke or drink, born in 1984, and worked on high-speed trains. It sounded great. But before we even met, he said we weren't compatible, that we didn't have the same social class, and my heart broke.
But you a blue-collar worker if you work on trains, so how do you not have the same...
But if I were the one looking for a rich man, and we were seen together, people would definitely say, "Look, Liu Lian is with him just for the money."
Gold
If
digger.
someone said that about me, I couldn't bear it. It would be humiliating. Now, if this man happened to be rich and people looked at us and thought, they seem to be together for love, I would feel that would be a very happy thing. But what if he were bald and chubby? People would humiliate me by saying I was with him only for the money, and I wouldn't be able to stand it.
You hear that? So once again, when you go to places like the Philippines and stuff, you're going to see a lot of beer bellies out there from America. King of the Hill type looking motherfuckers. If that's you, she's saying she can't accept that. Just for the guys that are saying that they don't want to see a girl with stretch marks, which almost all women have stretch marks. Sorry, gentlemen.
That would be humiliation, and I couldn't handle it. When I was looking for a partner, I was very romantic. Although I'm realistic, I'm very discreet about money. For me, dating is more intimate, and marriage is more formal. That's why it's important to be strong, because only then do you have the power to choose love. If you, woman, aren't strong enough, you'll only be able to wait to be chosen by a rich man.
Counting on my fingers, today marks the 25th day since I came back. Every day, I eat and sleep, sleep and eat. Time passes pretty quickly. With nothing much to do, I decided to go through some private messages left by netizens. One of them caught my attention. It was from someone about my age. He shared that he had been in 2 relationships. The first was a school romance, which started naively and ended, like many, during the breakup season after graduation. But it's the second relationship that's worth mentioning, because it's the one that led him to join the ranks of the leftover women. He met his second girlfriend in Beijing. They worked at the same company at neighboring desks. The colleague, apparently, fell in love with him at first sight. She did everything she could to get close to him, and with the help of friends and his own efforts, they ended up together smoothly. At that time, he truly thought he was the happiest person in the world. Being in a relationship where both liked each other was wonderful. The boyfriend was from Hebei, and she was from a single-parent family in Yeyang, Hune. She lived only with her father, who wasn't in good health. When her father found out about the relationship, he opposed the marriage.
Of course he did. Because he knew there wasn't much options for her. And, I mean, it's pretty hard to debate that if you grew up in a single family household. I mean, a single parent household. So, that's really a background to put on, too. A lot of people are going to bypass you if you grew up in a single parent household. Because they're just going to look at you completely different. Because, I mean, things happen. One parent dies. I mean, what can you do about that?
He didn't want her to move so far away, fearing that he would be left without support in the future. He refused to accept it, and it made him so upset that he had a hypertension crisis.
Oh.
She, feeling there was no way out, couldn't go against her father. So, she decided to break up with her boyfriend. The boyfriend, of course, didn't agree. She was torn, but in the end, she decided to block him on all social media and disappear without a word. Before this, she had mentioned that after quitting her job, she would work with a friend in a logistics warehouse in Huairou, but never mentioned the exact location. At the time, colleagues told me that the guy searched all the logistics warehouses in Huairou for her. He went days without eating anything and eventually collapsed in the subway.
Wow, you hear that? So even in a full-on relationship, you could still get ghosted. You just decide to just cut all ties, not even at least tell the person. That's traumatizing. But a lot of people do it.
After that, he left Beijing and never saw the girl again. Now, he's about 28 or 29 years old. He's been back in his hometown for some time now. In recent years, he's been taking care of his father. Some relatives even tried to set him up with other people, but he seems to live with his heart elsewhere, always thinking about another place. Actually, he doesn't blame his father. Maybe it's just fate.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's the video. Thanks for tuning in. I like this one because it was a little shorter, so I didn't have to break it up as much. But you already know what to do. I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.
Thank you.